When you work with the Entity Framework from an ASP.NET Core project, at least one created from one of the Microsoft templates, there's nothing additional that you have to do to work with the Entity Framework in this project. And that's because if I look at the NuGet dependencies that are associated with this project, I see the package microsoft.aspnetcore.app, which is what we call a meta package. This package exists to bring in other packages, and if I do a search for Entity Framework or just EntityF, I can see that this ASP.NET Core app meta package brings in additional NuGet packages that bring in all the Entity Framework functionality that we might need. However, we're using a slightly different setup. Yes, ultimately we want to use the Entity Framework from the Ode to Food project, but we've also separated out our data access into ode2food.data. And this particular project does not reference any NuGet packages currently. This is just a simple, humble class library. When I build out the classes that are going to use the Entity Framework, I want to put those classes into ode2food.data, and that means ultimately this project is going to need a reference to those Entity Framework NuGet packages. So I'm going to right-click on the project, say that I want to manage NuGet packages. This is something you can do from the command line using the .NET add command. What I want to do is go out and browse and search for Entity Framework Core. So I want to make sure I'm using the Entity Framework Core, not just the Entity Framework. I'm going to install the latest stable version, which for me is 2.1.4. To do that, I need to accept the license agreement. And then as soon as that is finished, there's actually some additional packages that I want to install. This version of the Entity Framework Core, supports a variety of different databases. And the package that I just installed is the core of the Entity Framework Core, if you will. When I go to work with a specific type of database like Microsoft SQL Server, then there are these additional NuGet packages that will add in support for a specific database provider like SQL Server. So I'm also going to install Microsoft.entityframeworkcore.SQL Server. Once this has finished installing, there is one additional package that I want to install, and that is a package named Design. That package is squeezed into the second location here in the list, and it is Microsoft.entityframeworkcore.design. Let me also install this package. While that's installing, let me right-click and open up ode2food.data.csproj so you can see what this looks like. What I have done is installed these three packages, which you could also do by modifying the csproj file directly, but I am now ready to work with the Entity Framework from my ode2food.data project.